Hello friends, welcome back to Data Center Guru Knowledge Platform, knowing A to Z of data center. So in our data center life cycle journey, so we have completed SS phase, we have completed design phase, we have completed build phase, that is construction phase, and now we are talking about operations phase. So data center operational sustainability is the terminology what we give because what we believe is how do you sustain the reliability and performance of the data center. It depends on the operation and management program. So the same way I worked on it and did some kind of research and did a definition for data center operation and management. So, data center operations and management is a program to effectively use people, process, products, and partner to sustain the same level of or better reliability and performance of the data center and maximize the leverage of assets across the life of data center. That means how effectively we are able to use the data center assets which is built or investment whatever is made and sustain the objective or the reliability and the performance of the data center for which the infra is built across the lifespan. So this is very important part of data center life cycle because it is not what or how or what is the level of or how reliable your data center is, but also highly dependent on how well matured your operation and management program is. Because a higher reliable data center with low maturity operation and management program may fetch you lower reliability as compared to higher maturity level of operation and management program and somewhat lower reliability level. So that is the importance of operation and management program because that not only helps you sustaining but also helps you leveraging the best value of the investment whatever is made for the data center. That is the key. Moving to the next, why are we talking about operation and management program so much? So you must understand why it is so important. So few data points I just wanted to share with you, and that is as per the research which is done by Uptime Institute. Uptime Institute does the research and publish the report on a yearly basis. And as per their report, more than 30% of the data center outages are attributable to facility or physical infrastructure of the data center. And at the same time, 80% of the customers confirmed that those incidents could have been avoided by properly handling it or properly responding to those incidents through operation and management program. And as I said previously, the reliability is not only defined by the infrastructure what you built, but it is also defined by what is the level of maturity program what you have, because end of the day that carries or helps you sustaining the reliability and performance. One, I will not say the current state of operation and management maturity level in India and specifically on the facility layer. We are, I would say, very novice or basic layer. And I always see if you put a scale of 1 to 10, the best of the operators in India, we fall around 3 or 4, not beyond that. There is a huge amount of improvements people can make. And what is that difference is still in India or in our part of the world, the operation and management is people driven program, not process or technology driven program. So obviously first it has to be process driven, and then you can automate it to the technology driven. Another pointers I would like to put it is, whatever outage happens, more than 25% of the outages were human error. That means on the incident, the operational person on the site did not respond it well to the incident, and that caused the outage. So that kind of, so 1/4 of such kind of incidences or human error. Obviously, human error are multiple attributes which I could find it, but I have just put it human error because people did not respond it well, or they reacted instead of proactive actions. So there are a lot of things which has caused this human error, and this is one of them. And you can almost eliminate it by having mature level of operation and management. So that's why we are talking about it. Now, what is this mature level of operation and management program? So this is a model we are trying to share with you. And if you see, there are multiple circles, and within that, so one is the management circle, where, or the governance part of it, which you need to manage. So what you need to manage is day-to-day operations. You have to ensure the availability aspect of it. There has to be a joint quality culture, so there has to be timely audit or internal, external. You need to have right technology strategy to see whether you are using the right technology strategy to optimize. What is the level of optimization which you are driving? So obviously it is driven by a continuous improvement plan. So you have to measure what are the gaps and what are the areas where you can be able to improve and drive the optimization part of it. Data center capacity and data center governance, that is more of a management aspects. And the next layer what you see is the domain aspect. What are the different data center building blocks you take care of? Like each and every building blocks are like assets in the data center. So you have to upkeep them. So what are those? You have to upkeep your network, power, equipments, facility as a premises, housekeeping, etc. Data hall area, how well you are using DCIM and building management systems, security, access control, CCTV, and all those stuff, cooling. So these are whatever I taught you in the earlier session, that data center building blocks. So the data center building block, upkeep of data center building block through this operation and management program plays a very, very important role. And then what you need is, obviously you need people, you know, process, tools, and you need defined processes to follow. And very, very important aspect is culture. So maturity or mature operation and management program, or the service culture defines, because you may have a great program, but if you lack the real service culture, if you don't practice those programs, then it doesn't give you the result. So that service culture is very, very important, and how we develop that we'll be talking in the subsequent slides. Then we are going to talk about elements of operational sustainability program. So whenever you are going to set up operation and management program, what are the different elements you should be able to consider or include in your program? So obviously first is the people. So the evaluate their people, the qualification, their skill sets, the number of people, background screening, how well they are trained and exposed or experienced for the specific job. So the personal management and the people management aspect of it. Again, what kind of training, accreditations, or what kind of orientation they need to deliver their work in operation and management, so that you have to develop and provide the training to those people. Third point is the documented aspect of it. So you need to have as-built documentation, asset database, maintenance database, safety program, compliances, walkthrough checklists, and so on and so forth in your program. And based on which you are going to develop the process and procedures, which is a very, very important aspects of operation and management program. And that's where we saw a major lacking in our part of the world. Because the detailed and precise process and procedures define whether this program can be process driven or the people driven. If the program is process driven, it can be made the technology driven also. But people driven program cannot be directly done technology driven. So if you want to make your operation and management program technology driven, the first step to get into the technology driven program is the process driven. So you have to define standard operating procedures, maintenance or method of procedures where how you maintain each and every system, subsystem, components, emergency operating procedures in terms of you have to define different set of emergency in terms of the current facility and make the people responsible for a specific task during the emergency scenario, and then you measure the emergency response during the emergency drills and ensure that all the stakeholders are playing the right role during the emergency. Then vendor management system, service agreement, partnership agreements, all those aspects has to be integrated into the process and procedures. Then we are talking about emergency response. I talked about quality management system. So quality management system is very, very important to keep a checks and balances on entire operation and management system. Then CMMS is computerized maintenance management system. It is a tool. You may be able to use it for automating your workflow, automating the maintenance program, automating the maintenance scheduling, statistical reporting, and so on and so forth. Similarly, you can automate your documents or document management system by using that tool and automate the process of document management there. Right, or to see and bring clarity on what are the level of regulatory compliance which is available. So keeping all this thing into the view, that defines you the real matured level of operation and management. Another, in the right hand side, what you see is KPI are very, very important aspect, and there also I see in our part of region lack a lot. We are not able to define our KPIs properly. So if you don't define the KPIs properly, then obviously the measurement and the consequences, controls of it is not going to be there. So I try to put it, these KPIs are more structured in nature and that is aligned to your business objectives or data center business objectives, and all your operation and management program has to be aligned to this KPI. So what I've tried to do this in KPI is I bucket it into 4 categories. So first is uptime. So uptime is important for business, important for your IT racks. So uptime is also having three categories. The first category is critical. Critical is what? Environmental conditions has to be available to your IT rack always. Always. No downtime. So you have to define what is the uptime for that. So uptime you define based on what is the level of reliability you have built and then what kind of operational management program you set the objective. So critical systems are typically outage in the data center. Essential systems are redundant systems. For example, UPS. One of the UPS fails, it doesn't mean that your data center is down. So your rack is still getting the power from another UPS. But your critical system is down. So you are running on high risk. So what is the uptime for that? You need to define. Similarly, you have got support system. CCTV, access, fire, building management system. These are support systems. They are not critical like UPS, you will make the data center down. But they enable the overall data center to be up and running. Those are called support systems. So what is the availability of that? Let us say your one of the access control reader is down. How will you measure? Or one of the camera is down. Or your controller is down. Or BMS, your server itself is down. How will you measure? So obviously you have to define uptime for different systems and that comes under the support system. Then next bucket is performance. Very, very important part. So performance is enabler to achieve the uptime because uptime is directly proportional to how you are performing the different parameters which is mentioned here. How you are doing the maintenance? Are you doing the timely maintenance? Are you deploying the staff adequate number with adequate quality? Is your security system up and running? How is your emergency preparedness? How is your safety systems or processes which is working? So these are the performance parameters which directly relates with your uptime. And how will you measure it? So there has to be a measurement matrices to measure all these parameters. And it is all for the data center building blocks, right? So it is a very detailed thing which somebody has to work on. Similarly, quality management system. So quality management system is directly proportional to performance. How you manage your quality, procedures, control, improvements, it directly impacts your performance. So what is the measurement matrices you have defined to measure quality in operation management program? Similarly, reporting. So what are the reporting KPIs which you have developed for operations, for information? Because there are a lot of communication goes as information on a timely basis and timely frequency. Similarly, there are a lot of operational dashboards, there are a lot of financial dashboards on the reporting which you have to do. How? So what is that matrices which you have defined, which you can be able to measure? So if you are having all these 4 blocks in the KPI and you are able to define all those parameters in detail, measurable, you won the race. You won the race for operational management. Coming to the next is process to set up operation and management program. How will you set up a mature level of operation and management program? So I try to break it up into 6 stages and try to bring a clarity to you, and I am hopeful and confident that these things you can be able to adapt and use your organization to enhance or bring up the maturity level of your operation and management. The first is obviously assessment phase. Assessment is all about understanding the business expectations, getting all the data center documentation, getting the details about people, partner, service level agreements, and so on and so forth, because that becomes a baseline on which you are able to build up the entire program. Very, very essential phase, because if there is any gap, expectation gap, or any documentation gap or understanding gap which happens here, then all other building blocks are going to be impacted. So first step, very, very important to clarify and make it very clear. Second step is the planning phase. You prepare a schedule, how much time it's going to take you to prepare, develop the entire operational sustainability program. Then what kind of resources you need, resource plan, what kind of stakeholders are there, what would be the communication, what is the RASCI matrix, when and what kind of training programs you want to develop, then what kind of reporting, what is the risk management thing we are planning, how you are managing the entire data center life cycle. So all those aspects includes in the planning phase. Then it comes to the preparation phase. So preparation phase is all about really preparing the entire document or implementing those plans. So setting up the operation and management organizations with a set of people, developing SOPs, MOPs, and this is one of the highest time-consuming factor, time-consuming activity, developing SOP, MOPs, GOPs. Let me tell you again, critical, time-consuming, very, very important. That makes you make or break. That makes your program people-driven or process-driven. Develop service management, you have to develop incident management, change management, capacity management, problem management, all those sets you have to prepare. You have to develop a training programs for different kind of resources and for different stages of the operation and management program. Then training plan and the training module which we have to develop. Quality management plan we have to develop completely. What are those regulatory compliances and how to meet the regulatory compliance? What are the document management system? Develop the reports and dashboard. What are the different kinds of report, different kind of dashboards, which you would be sharing with the different stakeholder at what frequency? Implement, if there is any technology, you implement it, and then prepare the entire annual maintenance plan for all the detailed assets. Once this entire preparation stage is over, you have to train your operation and management team. Because unless and until they digest what you prepared, they may not be able to run successfully. So train them and have the training on different frequency for different kind of activities on time to time. It is not one-time activity. Training is not one-time activity. You have to keep on training people on a time-to-time basis. Also, on any changes you make in the data center, you have to, apart from updating your database, you have to also keep your people trained and oriented towards those changes in the process or anything what you make change in the data center. Once the people get trained, aligned with all the three stages, then ready to go. You start running your operation and management program. So people run day-to-day operations. You start doing monitoring, your preventing activities, proactive activity, load management aspect of a document, service management, all whatever you prepared, you start following is implementing it, practicing it. Let me put it this way. Practicing it. And the last is govern and optimize. So whatever you are running, there has to be a governance mechanism to check whether whatever KPIs you have defined for this program, are you meeting those KPIs? If there is any, then you have to govern yourself, set your programs in such a way that you are able to achieve all those. So KPIs, quality, performance, staffing, service. So there are different steps or things which you have to do, the checks and balances. And based on this governance, it also gives you an outcome to optimize, because you know where are the problem areas which is impacting your operation and management program, and you drive a optimization initiatives or program through that as a part of continuous improvement program. So this is what the end-to-end operational sustainability program I always call it. I hope you can be able to, this is on a very broader level. So detailing is the beauty, and detailing, the success lies in detailing. Unless and until you land on earth, just flying not going to help. What are the key success factors? So key success factors, what we developed, if you see in the middle part of it, people, process, partners and products. This is something which are not invented. I think this is part of IT service management. And they put these 4 pillars are the foundation pillars of service management. And operation and management program is also one kind of service management applicable for the facility. So these 4 P pillars are as important as which is applicable in our IT service management. So what you should do in people, what you should do in process, what you should do in partner, what you should do in products. What I will try and do is, because I will cover all these blocks in different sessions. So what needs to be taken care of, people, process, partner. And all these 4 P's are equally important. There is no plus or minus, this is more important, this is less important. Bottom part, standard on best practices. So if you are able to follow certain standard, well and good. If you are reinventing the wheel, then also well and good, you can follow the previous thing and completely set up your operational sustainability program. And the top one, behavioral traits. This is what is make or break. I say all these stuff is a prepare phase, because we are divided into 4 categories. Proactive. Proactive, that means you are preparing all these sets, operation and management program, which I talked about till prepare, is all about proactive. Second step is practiced. Whatever program which you have prepared, are you really practicing it? So that practice culture need to be driven. If you have got a great program and it is not being practiced, it doesn't have any sense. So practicing is something is very, very important aspect. And then inform to the different stakeholders in terms of whatever the things which is there. And the finally very, very important fact is control point and audit. Sometimes what happens, organization put internal audit, and it like, bhai or brother sister kind of, okay, we will take care, you take care of me, you take care of me, and that's all. So whatever, there is a major gap between the prepare and the practiced. So that gap can be completely bridged with this control, external control or audit. So there has to be a competent authority audit which should be done minimum on a yearly basis to ensure that whatever is prepared is being religiously practiced and you are really getting the outcome of the successful operational sustainability program. So with this, in the next session, I will be talking about people. What is the role of people and what are the different aspects we need to take care of in the people block is something I'll be talking in the next or upcoming session. And with this, I come into this session of operational sustainability program on the block level, and I hope this program is, or this session is very useful, and this session even more useful for the people who are really already doing data center operation and management, and even they can be able to use this knowledge in their normal day-to-day operation, in the preparation phase and also in the practice phase, and then experience the outcome, what they get, experience the difference, what they're going to get. So keep on encouraging me with your feedbacks, with sharing these videos to maximum number of your connects, so that more and more people can get benefited out of it. And keep on watching. So I would like to wish you a great morning, great evening, great afternoon. Bye bye and take care. And bye for now till we catch up for the next session, session number 21.